Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making chicken and gravy. Here's what you'll need. You'll need some king oyster mushrooms in the trumpet, in its trumpet form like that. You'll need a few baby Bella mushrooms and fresh basil, fresh oregano, fresh sage. This is more basil. And fresh rosemary and thyme. I just got a roasting kit. I had this left over from the holidays, but it's all fresh. And also, last but not least, guys, fresh lavender. This actually served as my Christmas tree over the holidays. It was so functional. I got it from Trader Joe's. And now I prune it and I cook with it. And I'm telling you, it changes the game. When you have these fresh herbs, when you're making alkaline dishes, it just changes the game. So, okay, so the first thing you want to do is chop up your onion. I have a sweet onion, and set it off to the side. You don't need the full onion, the whole onion. But it just depends on how much you want to make. I'm not really making a lot, so I'll just use half of a sweet onion. I like sweet onions for this dish. Put that off to the side. Then next, then we take our king oyster trumpets. And what we want to do is cut them on an angle. Cut them at an angle. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. Because production, I don't know where production is to help me out right now. Okay. So this is what I mean by cut at an angle. Right? We want to cut at an angle. And then we want to, once we have them at an angle, we want to cut them split down the middle. Okay? So we're going to do that to each trumpet mushroom. See? We had them at an angle. Now we're going to cut them. Cut them. Cut them like that. These are our chicken pieces. Right? Okay. So now I'm going to do the rest. I just want to show you again. Okay, so you see all our chicken is cut up. So we're going to put that off to the side. And then we're going to slice our Bella mushrooms. Okay, and so you can slice your Bella mushrooms however you want, because that really doesn't matter as much as the chicken cut that we just made. So now we are going to go over to the stove. So I'm working with an electric stove, so I put my setting on medium. I'm using grapeseed oil. This is probably like a quarter cup of grapeseed oil, but y'all know I really don't like to measure. And I'm going to put my onions in because I want them to get soft first. I don't like my onions too crunchy. And while my onions are in there, I'm gonna start putting in all of my fresh herbs as well. The oregano, the sage, thyme, the basil, the rosemary. Okay? Alright, so here's how we're looking. We have all our herbs and our onion sauteing in our wok. Sauteing in grapeseed oil. And now we're just going to add our mushrooms. So now our mushrooms are in. We're going to let everything cook down a little bit, maybe for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to begin to season to taste. I like to, with this dish, coconut aminos are really good. But if you don't have coconut aminos, it's okay. Just season to taste. And then once we add Our other ingredients, you'll probably want to season to taste them too. But so we're just gonna let this cook down for probably about 5 minutes, and then we'll add in a half a cup of mushroom broth. You can see the chicken has cooked down a little bit. So now we're going to take a quarter cup of mushroom. I'm sorry, not a quarter cup. A half a cup of mushroom broth and pour it on in. Here's the half a cup of mushroom broth. So we're just going to pour it on in. That was probably more than a half a cup, but you know. Okay, so now here's, I added in a little bit more basil because I just love basil and the way it smells and the way it tastes. So now we've let this heat up maybe about 2-3 minutes, and that's cool. It doesn't need to heat up that much because now we're going to get our chickpea flour. Now a lot of people have stuff to say about chickpea flour, and chickpea flour does have like this, it has a taste. It has an acquired taste, and that's okay. But what the cool thing about the mushroom broth is it takes away that kind of like residue, and then once we add our seasonings, we're good. But so this is actually the gravy, and so I'm gonna call for production so you guys can see me whisk in the chickpea flour and magically create the gravy. Here, I'm excited. So I have the chickpea flour, and I'm just simply going to sprinkle a little bit in, and then use my whisker and whisk it in, whisk it in, whisk it in. And that, I don't even know how much that was. It was a light sprinkle. And that is typically, so that wasn't even a quarter cup of flour. That was less than a quarter. So that's really it. That's your gravy. It's already thickened up really nicely with that mushroom broth, if you guys can see. And if you want your broth even thicker, you just add more of the chickpea flour. And our chicken and gravy is complete. Now, this is what I call like this is my dark gravy. If you wanted lighter gravy, like a turkey looking gravy, you wouldn't add the mushroom broth. You would add water, and that would give it a lighter color. But this is the dark color that I love, and this is it. So I just turned my fire off. I'm just gonna let it sit a little bit. I'm gonna pair this with some rice or noodles, and that's it.